This is Divine Lifestyles with Tara Magalski. What is a divine lifestyle? Passion, purpose, and living in alignment with your truth. Thanks for tuning into Divine Lifestyles, feeding your spirit, mind, and body. I am your host, Tara Magalski, and I am here with a dear friend and superhero, Dan Adams. Dan Adams is the founder of the Higher Purpose Project, which is a groundbreaking initiative that connects passionate, fearless people from around the world committed to being catalysts for change within their communities. And not only that, he is also the founder of Mission Kilimanjaro, whose purpose is to demonstrate to our heroes in the veteran community and to young people with disabilities all around the world that no obstacle is too great to be conquered with an active, no barriers lifestyle and mindset. So, Dan, before we dive into all the amazing movements that you're a part of, just tell our listeners a little bit about your story and where you grew up.
Okay, absolutely. And Tara, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It's an honor to be able to sit and talk on this unbelievable show, where you're sharing all these great stories. But for me in particular, I guess I grew up in the Northern Virginia area, so right outside of DC. And, my parents had very traditional jobs. And for me, I loved the West. I loved Indians. I wanted to kind of create my own adventure. And, since I've, left the nest, I went away to school in Massachusetts. I started in finance, and then, I got that pull, that call to adventure. And, when I answered it, it's been amazing, what's come into my life. And through kind of confronting some of those fears, some of those difficult things that have, come along my path, I've been able to do some pretty amazing things. In college, I played football, and I led the nation in unassisted tackles when I was a junior in college. And I'm really small. I look like a kicker. I'm 5'9", 100.
You're not that small.
Yeah, but I always believe that you could really build this life that's aligned with your passions and a higher purpose. And I've never I've never relegated myself to anything lower than the ideal vision. And so over the course of the journey, it's been quite the adventure. In 2012, we led Kyle up to the top of Kilimanjaro, and ended up winning an ESPY with that initiative. And then we set up the Higher Purpose Project.
So tell me a little bit, was there a moment, I know you said that you had this inner calling, this inner whisper. Was there one moment, was it a series of moments for the catalyst of this higher calling?
I think for all of us, we all have these little mini awakenings, through a series of different events in our lives. And, for me, it was building. I kind of come to realize that what I was doing wasn't in alignment with who I was or what I was interested in. I was in finance, so I learned early how to make a lot of money, but, I was looking at my own life and realized I was a big hypocrite in a lot of different ways. And, for me at least, feeling that pain, it really forced me, to take action. And it was the catalyst in my life for, building the initiative to Africa with Kyle. We wanted to focus on this idea that if you confront your fears and limiting beliefs, there's no limit to what you can create. We wanted people to really, step into their power, realize their strength, their superpowers, and really kind of be the change within our world. And so, taking that leap of faith, it's been fun.
So how did you meet Kyle, and where did that vision get birthed from?
For me, I saw a short documentary on Kyle in 2010. He fought a mixed martial arts fight. And to me, it was amazing because it was somebody that was born with every single physical limitation you can consider that was unwilling to surrender. And I saw Kyle at that time as a tremendous opener, a tremendous tool for people. And I had kind of come to believe these things through my own path, in playing athletics, being able to transition, that mindset into anything that I wanted to do. And I had started working for a marketing company, and started to understand the basics of how to deliver a message, how to fundraise, how to kind of build the foundations of large-scale visions. And I basically created a vision board initially with kind of our mission statement, what I really wanted to project into the world, and how that was going to look. So I came up with a a basic budget. I came up with who I wanted the focus to be, and at that time, I felt including the veteran community would be powerful. And so I came up with all these different ideas, and I shared them with Kyle. I had a friend of mine that was in Atlanta, and he made the connection with Kyle, and then I flew to DC, pitched the idea, and then over the course of 9 months, we built it. And I moved down to Atlanta. I took all the necessary steps to make sure that I was accountable for the action steps that I spoke about in our meeting.
So really, it goes to show you that anything really is possible. And that brings me to wanting to tell our listeners about Higher Purpose Project, because this is something that has changed my life. As I've told you, I've been involved with HPP since April. And this community, you're such a visionary to me. How did you come up? Was it just a natural flow that after you did Mission Kilimanjaro, that you wanted to start HPP after you saw the movement and the impact?
Yeah. For me, I was very fortunate, to have an opening to meet a lot of just amazing people in all different types of industries. And when that bar is raised for you, when you're given a new perspective on the world, it really pushes you to confront limiting beliefs in yourself, to really be the change in our modern world.
Oh, so amazing. It really is amazing. And just while we're on that note, tell the listeners where we can actually learn more about HPP so they can get connected.
Absolutely. So you can visit thehigherpurposeproject.com. There's tons of photos and videos from the past summits we've led over these past 2 years, and we'll be getting ready to launch a new initiative in 2015. So be on the lookout.
You're so inspirational. But tell me the truth. Do you have moments in your life where you're making decisions out of fear and not faith?
Oh yeah, all the time, Tara. Because the thing is you're constantly on a hero's journey all the time. It constantly, you stop one thing, you pick up something else, and you're always taking new leaps of faith. You gain a little confidence with each one of these things that you do. But for me, it's all about growing. It's all about, the lessons I'm learning. So when I get done with something, a lot of people might consider some of the things that I've done to be really neat, but for me, it's okay, how can I build off of that? And I think that's you have to have a balance though too, because if you get too caught up in the doing and constantly seeking and going out and building these epic things, there's a tendency to lose that emotional connection with the people around you. So it definitely gets tough, and I think in those moments, it provides an opening to be vulnerable, to express those things. And I think the greatest heroes are ones that, have empathy, have compassion, are grounded, and know that, with every great emerald city that's built up, there's also a veil. There's that darkness that you go through to be able to see the light. You have to experience both opposites to really understand them. And by understanding them, it enables you to really connect to the people around you. Which I think is the most important. It's not climbing Kilimanjaro. It's not building businesses. It's not succeeding in athletics. It's not succeeding in your career. It's learning how to connect with different types of people through understanding their suffering, understanding what they're going through, and seeing a bigger picture with the world around you. And that starts from within.
One thing that I think HPP stands for that I've taken is that we really need to turn our weaknesses into our power, because that's really where we're going to see the transformation happen. So where do you see the Higher Purpose Project going in the next 5 years? What's your grand vision?
My grand vision for the Higher Purpose Project is to create an international initiative. So the whole goal is to really focus on people integrating things into their local community, taking action. I think, a lot of people use the term hero, loosely, and I think it's really important, with whatever you want to bring into the world, to go out there and just to take those little dumb action steps that can get you closer to that goal. And I think when people have that perspective, when they meet people like Kyle Maynard, when they meet people like Eric Weinmeier, a lot of these different people that have participated in the summit and done really amazing things, it gives them perspectives because we all develop these stories in our head about, our petty problems and the things that are holding us back. And when you have perspective after meeting someone like Kyle or Craig Scott, who was in the Columbine shooting, or people that have dealt with different forms of darkness, it enables you to really push past like those sticking points. And so for me, the Higher Purpose Project, I want to move more into different school initiatives. I want to develop some more major sponsors to be able to reach, the at-risk kids around the country that don't have the financial means to travel and be a part of a group. And I really want to find all of those unique conscious creators that are doing really amazing things. Because for me, if you can bring those people together and everyone can up the bar and really build upon each other's strengths, I think it's crazy what can happen. And it's such a great time to live in.
It is. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited to come to the next summit. So tell us a little bit about where you see, are you going to do anything fun? Are you going to do anything new, like any crazy adventures coming up? Because by the way, tell the listeners that at your last summit, I was very, very nervous to do the ropes challenge. And I had no idea, you didn't mention that before, and we went to this beautiful retreat in Boston. And it was so great, and I'm so happy I did it, but I was so scared. I'm terrified of heights. And I said to myself, I've got to do this. This is the group where I need to do it. So do you have any more fun things like that coming up?
Oh, yeah. There's always new adventures on the horizon. What I try to do is I always push myself personally and to see like, what's really kind of scary for me? What's going to kind of get people at their edge? And I mean, that's one of the things at the summit, like you take in all these different forms of information, but it's important to really, put that and integrate that into your experience. And so doing the ropes challenge, and seeing Tara up there, crushing the ropes course, it was really empowering for a lot of people there. And, these past 6 months have been, really scary for me in certain ways. Like I've been on the road since July. I drove from Vegas to Boston because I wanted to see a lot of the West, and I wanted to get out. I wanted to get outside of the rigid structures that I had developed, building that, weren't necessarily beneficial to me. And so it's been pretty fun. Like I watched a lot of chick flicks. I watched Chocolat, and I watched Dirty Dancing, and things I wouldn't normally watch. And my partner Victoria, has been really instrumental in bringing some new values to the Higher Purpose Project and evolving it. She's been really valuable to me because she's really helped me push into kind of those emotional depths that I don't always really get into because I can get kind of in my head about the next 2 or 3 steps that is ahead of me on the journey, rather than being present and focused on the people that I'm around. So that's kind of been my emphasis. And we've gotten to see all the national parks all throughout the West. We got to meet a lot of amazing people. We got to go to Disney World, which is super fun. And we got to go on a lot of kind of epic hikes and kayaking and all types of fun outdoor challenges. And so those are things that we're going to integrate more into the summit. Some more epic hikes with people at different levels, ropes challenges. We'll have some more team competitions that we'll integrate as well, just to really promote collaboration and healthy competition, all that type of stuff. So it'll be super fun.
Cool. So what tips can you offer to someone who is struggling to find their highest purpose? Is there any daily practices or any advice that you'd want to give them?
Yeah, I mean, I think, to find your higher purpose, you have to have your basic needs met. So really learning to develop some self-care practices, and they're really simple. Starting out, for me, it's making sure that I have healthy food, that the things I'm consuming enable me to really kind of ground and have energy throughout the day. And really, visualizing the things that I want in my life. I mean, I think everybody's higher purpose is different. We all have different contracts, different lessons to learn. So you first have to kind of come to a realization of what it is that you want in your life and really dive into that, why you want that particular thing. What's the emotional pull that is really, driving you to want to have these different things in your life. And, by integrating those things and really finding a connection, it really enables you to accelerate the process. For me, I'm a really visual person. So my entire room in Atlanta is a big vision board. It has all the things that I wanted to do this past year, and it's been amazing because I've been able to do everything. I've been able to basically cross off all these different things I wanted to create. And so I think, it starts one with an idea of what you want, so rather than getting caught up in some of the negative things that you experienced, focusing your attention on the things that you want to create. Two, just getting very visual in that process, really imagining, visualizing, feeling that experience and how it resonates with your life. And then three, like developing really simple, dumb action steps that you can take, that might be, for me, like with the Kyle Maynard example with going to Africa and building this whole big ESPY award-winning initiative. It really just started with, an email, reaching out to my friends in Atlanta, being like, oh, do you know this kid? Is there a way that you can connect me with him? Just taking little small steps that provide those openings for some bigger opportunities. So it's kind of like a reverse engineering process. And it's also really fun because this is where you get creative, and this is what enables you to really kind of rack your brain for, resources that are in your current network and different little things that you can do to get closer.
Oh, awesome. So tell us all one more time where we can go to find out how to get involved with HPP, or possibly drop you a note, because I'm sure a lot of people who are watching or listening will maybe want to contact you directly. So
Yeah,
what's the best place?
Absolutely. So people can get a hold of me at dan@thehigherpurposeproject.com. And if you want to learn more about the Higher Purpose Project itself, you can just visit thehigherpurposeproject.com.
Awesome. Thank you for tuning in, and make sure you subscribe to this channel to get your weekly fix for all you spiritual gangsters. Any questions or comments, go to my site at taramagalski.com. Drop me a note. I'd love to hear from you. And stay tuned for next week. I got the good stuff.